I have a very high KD ratio IRL, and it's all because of my pet frogs. I tried my best to be a good frog owner. I really did, but I was just not good. It was a lot of dead frogs. When I was in elementary school, I was a frog kid. I'll admit it. You know, some people are train kids, some are dinosaur kids. I was a frog kid. I mean, frogs are basically dinosaurs, except they're not fictional. Shots fired, shots fired. I was a total frog stan. I had all the frog merch, frog backpack, frog shirt, formal frog shirt, frog crocs, frog hat. I was so cool. What I didn't have was the frog. So for my 7th birthday, my parents got me a mail order frog. It was this company that would mail you a frog in a teeny cardboard box. Now you may be thinking, isn't that animal abuse? Yep. So the frog arrived. First of all, turns out it was actually a tadpole, not a frog, so there was some false advertising going on. And second of all, it was dead. Right out of the box. Bro got spawn killed. This may come as a huge shock to you, but it turns out that transporting live animals via UPS is maybe not the safest idea ever. I don't know if you've ever seen how UPS workers handle boxes, but they chuck those things around like they're playing dodgeball. So yeah, frog number 1, he didn't even make it to froghood. My parents called the company to complain, and then they sent frog number 2. Now you might think, isn't it kinda irresponsible on our part to request that they mail a second frog? Surely the second frog is gonna meet the exact same fate as the first? You would be correct. The second frog arrived dead as well. Whoops! To those of you keeping track at home, that means that I've already burned through 2 pet frogs, both of whom died so fast I didn't even name them yet. But if there's one thing my family never learns, it's a lesson. So we ordered frog number 3. Now brace yourself for this plot twist. But frog number 3 actually arrived alive. I was so shocked they didn't even have a name ready for him. So I just ended up calling him Froggy. I loved Froggy. He was my bro. He didn't really do that much as a tadpole. He would kind of just swim around his little tank in circles, but I was still fascinated by him. Froggy was a special type of frog with semi-transparent skin, so you could actually see his little frog organs inside his body, which actually deeply disturbed me, but still he was cool. Within a week or 2, Froggy was a full-blown frog, and he was way more active. He was hopping all around, having an absolute blast, showing off his froggy body, but he might have showed off his body a little bit too much. All the hopping around caught the eye of my sister's cat, Snip Snap. You can probably guess where the story is going. One day I got home from school to find the tank on the floor, water everywhere, and Snip Snap playing with Froggy's corpse. Dead frog number 3, let's give it up for dead frog number 3. My parents tried one more time, and frog number 4, drumroll please, arrived dead in the box. Woo! I suspect that the company actually just sent us the same dead tadpole all 3 times and figured we'd just give up eventually. And it worked, we did give up. My parents finally realized that the universe was just telling them loud and clear that I was not cut out to be a frog father. But then one of my friends was moving out of state and they wouldn't be able to take their pet frog with them. Now since I was obviously the frog ownership expert, they gave their frog to me. Ironically, their frog was also named Froggy. Now Froggy number 2, he wasn't some newborn like Froggy 1 was. Froggy 2 was several years old, and he was massive. I no longer had to worry about cats eating Froggy. I had to worry about Froggy eating cats. I was determined to keep Froggy number 2 alive. I had to make amends to the frog gods for my failures. I gave that frog everything. And by everything, I mean a whole lot of crickets. And I didn't cheap out and get the already dead crickets either. I fed him fresh, still hopping crickets. That's just the kind of loving person that I am. And if you want me to keep feeding you videos like I fed Froggy crickets, then you should subscribe to this channel. That's fire, that's going in the video. But Froggy, he wasn't exactly the fastest frog in the world, so quite often the crickets would escape into our house. At least once a week, I would hear my mom shriek from across the house because she found a cricket in her shower. And if you don't want to find me in your mom's shower, you should. Even though Froggy was safe from cats and UPS workers, he still had a lot of close calls of death. Every few weeks, he would just completely stop moving for a day or 2 at a time. And every time I'd think, well, that's it. He's dead. And every time, he would resurrect himself. He was the Jesus frog. That, or my parents just replaced him with a different frog each time he died. Though I don't know where they would have found replacement frogs that were nearly as big as he was, so I think Froggy honestly was just a god in amphibious form. Froggy eventually died for real, but it wasn't, I want to make this clear, it wasn't my fault. Me and my family were on vacation, and halfway through the trip, we got a call from our frog babysitter, yes, that is a thing, telling us that Froggy was dead. By that point, Froggy had already had like 8 fake-out deaths, so we were pretty sure he was still alive, but nope. When we returned home, he really was gone. Maybe it was because of how many fake-out deaths Froggy had already had, but I wasn't too affected by his real death. My immediate reaction was to try and keep one of the still alive food crickets as my new pet, but my parents vetoed that idea, and they made me exterminate all the crickets instead. They gave me my own cat though, so it all worked out. For me, not for the frogs. Definitely not for the frogs. Sorry guys. You should check out this video, by the way. But be warned, I was battling some demons when I made this one, so please don't judge me.